Hello there, Nikki here. I hope you are all well. And today I am going to talk about divorce and breakup. So it's not far after New Year now. A lot of people split up before Christmas. I think more this year than ever, some of the stats are showing. And also some after Christmas. There's people that have, gone through Christmas just being left by their partner, husband, wife, whatever it might have been. And, that was pretty shocking for them. They didn't see it coming. It leaves a big hole of devastation. I have been through quite a few breakups and 2 divorces, in fact. So I'm very aware how traumatic they can be. And I went through one with children involved too. And I made quite a few mistakes. And I've learned a lot from when that happened. That was 15 years ago now. If I'd have known now, then what I know now, things could have been a lot different. But, life is life. I have no regrets. I have 2 amazing children. And, I think part of the reason that I got drawn towards all the training I've done in trauma and narcissistic abuse was obviously because I have experienced that myself. I've experienced trauma in my childhood, which I've explained in other videos, which you can look at, and most of us have somewhere along the way. And I have had more than one narcissistic partner. There's a big difference between, narcissistic personality disorder and having some narcissistic traits. Again, I've explained that in previous videos. We all have the odd narcissistic trait in ways. Even if you're going through a divorce or separation, it doesn't have to be a narcissistic partner, but it can be tricky to navigate. Emotions are high. The feelings of guilt, fear, shame, betrayal, anxiety, stress, all those negative feelings and emotions come up. You can be very worried, don't know what's going to happen in court. There may be one side of the relationship where the partner's very vindictive, very manipulative. You can even end up looking like the narcissistic or manipulative person yourself if they've done a good job with friends, family, trashing you, bad-mouthing you, and maybe you've reacted and haven't looked good. So I have made quite a few notes because there's a lot to talk about today. Breakups are difficult, and I have worked with a lot of clients going through going through breakups, or even wanting to break up or divorce their partner and needing help and support because they are, as I said, fearful, frightened, guilty, and all those emotions that I've talked about. You may need to be involving a divorce lawyer, a financial planner, and this can bring up triggers and activations. And I'm going to talk a bit about parenting and give you some info in this video that I hope will help you. Going to court is a pretty traumatic experience. I have been many, many times, and I can't say that I came out particularly well. I certainly never had my children taken off me, which obviously was my biggest fear and concern, and I was literally riddled with fear at that happening. And a lot of the problems and arguments in abusive or narcissistic split ups are down to children and money. So one thing that's often brought up in court, and I would advise not to use this wording, is parents alienation. So it's not something I would recommend a term you using in court. Sorry, there's strange noise outside. I'll tell you why, because that term was coined or invented by a lawyer who is actually representing a paedophile in court. And you know, the parent did not want the children to go to this other parent at all, the paedophile, and this lawyer went into court saying that the parent was alienating this other parent from being able to see his children. And yeah, so it's used a lot. I see it a lot on social media. I see it a lot in the trauma and narcissistic support groups that I'm in, and I would highly recommend not to use that that term in court. I would not use the term narcissist in court either, not unless you have actually got proof and that you have got a diagnosis. And getting a diagnosis is near on impossible. Yes, it does happen, but it's very unlikely that you're going to get that diagnosis, because I don't think many people with narcissistic personality disorder are going to go and get diagnosed. And also somebody with that disorder, I can't believe it, I've just got on this video and my phone's going mental. I should have turned it off. Somebody with MPD doesn't believe they have it, unlike many other personality disorders where they do know, have an idea of their behaviours and what they're like. So they're not going to be aware. And as I say, they're highly manipulative and coercive people, and they can fool the courts and fool friends and fool teachers and all sorts. But if you are going through a highly stressful breakup, you will likely be in a trauma response at the moment, and you may be highly activated, which would mean you are probably in fight or flight, on red alert, angry, agitated, stress. Or equally, you could be very, not saying a word, zoned out, where you'd be in freeze. And your nervous system is so shot, you've had so much thrown at you that you can't cope anymore, and you've literally gone into a trauma response which is called freeze. It's your dorsal vagal. So there could be that. Then there's the other response you could be in, which is when you're fawning. You are trying desperately to please the abuser, hopefully so they don't take you to court or they don't stop giving you money if you're a single mum and you're desperate. So you may be agreeing with the person. And yeah, that none of those trauma responses are any good for your children, are they? Children should be at the heart of all this, not in the middle. Sadly, what the narcissistic or abusive partner will do will not put the children in the middle, and they will use the children as pawns, and getting to you is more important than the children's best welfare. And then you're going to look like you've got a high conflict divorce going on, and it's going to look like both the parents are to blame. Now, what I can do and will do, if you wanted to work with me, is help you get back to co-regulation and to your true self. That's using the front part of your brain. So you're not going to be in fight or flight, you're not going to be in freeze, you're not going to be in fawn, but you're going to be in ventral vagal. That is where you are calm, collected, curious, in flow, confident. You know, I wouldn't pressurize you at all. There would be no judgment coming from me. I know what it's like to be in a relationship and know you should be out of it. I know what it's like to be told, why the hell are you still there? What are you doing? Leave. It's just not always that easy. And often lawyers, through no fault of their own, or financial advisors, or some health professionals, they do not always understand trauma. I know more and more are being trained in it, and you may feel judged, and that's just going to make things a lot worse and trigger you. So you may well feel ashamed to have recently become a single parent. You know, the stigma of, you know, single parent, broken family. You shouldn't be. Don't be. You should be proud that you are bringing up your children as best you can, alone, working, you know, navigating through the early years or teenage years, whatever it might be. You know, big up you, seriously, big up you. And if you're watching this video, it's likely that, you know, you want the very best for your children. You are not trying to alienate the other partner, but you are trying to save your children from you know, having problems, being manipulated and brainwashed by the other partner, which can happen. And there is really only one way to deal with parenting if you are in a relationship like that, as in narcissistic or very abusive and manipulative, and that is what's called parallel parenting. So what parallel parenting is, and how I can teach you if you decide you want to have some relationship or trauma or divorce coaching with me, is you've got 2 train tracks. Each parent is one of the tracks and the child is the train in the middle. So the train is going along, the child is going along, the tracks are on either side, parenting separately, and there's never any coming together. Yes, you might think that's sad, you might wish, you might hope, you might pray that there can be some reasonable discussion, but with certain people that's never going to happen, and you do have to accept that. And for the sake of your children, for the sake of your sanity, this is the only way. If you're trauma bonded, which I've also talked about in other videos, and you can look on either my Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube channel or page, then you are going to be dying to get in contact with that partner, dying to know what they're doing, dying to look at their social media. Every cell in your body is wanting to get a text from them, but that is not going to help the children in any way at all. It's not going to help you heal or get over the relationship in any way at all. And the only way in this situation is extreme modified contact. Obviously, if there's no children involved, then the best thing you can ever do is no contact at all ever again, for your own sanity. Yes, we all have been guilty, I'm sure, of peeking online, setting up fake accounts to look at the ex, you know, getting friends to look at their page and tell you, but all you're doing is perpetuating and extending the pain for yourself and for your children. Yeah. Parallel parenting and extreme modified contact is the way. So how I would help you to set that up is by setting up another email account that you only use that for the narcissistic parent or the abusive parent that you are getting out of the relationship with. You have to block them from all your social media and your email. You just get another phone, a cheap phone that is only for them, and you only check it, you know, so many times a week when necessary, or have it on if they have the children for emergencies, because then you're showing the court that you are doing the right thing. And that what is at the heart of your wishes is your children. The narcissistic parent can be very manipulative, and you may not want them to see the children because they're upsetting them, they're saying things about you, and that's totally understandable. But the problem you've got there is that's really hard to prove in court, and sometimes you know, there's just nothing you can do about it. And it is unfortunate and it is very sad for the children, but you know, you can be the parent you are, not slagging them off, not engaging in text wars, you know, not obsessing constantly on your phone, and you're a much better parent for your child, because you've got to remember that conflict takes two people. So if there is conflict going on in that way, then you are still engaging and you are not doing what's best for your children. Unless it is about the children, there's absolutely no need, or maybe something about the divorce, there's no need to have any contact with your ex. It's not healthy, it's not going to do you any good unless you've got a healthy split going on. And if you have, you're probably not going to be watching this video. Yeah, and learning to parallel parent will reduce your time in court. And I know that lawyers and solicitors that actually are trauma informed will spend less time in court, and you'd think, well, they don't really want that because they're going to earn less money. Surely they love earning more money. Well, yeah, I suppose in ways, but also the professionals that are known for dealing with these situations quickly, fairly, not just trying to egg out more money in court, are the ones who get recommended and get more work. So from research, less contact will soothe your nervous system much quicker. You'll be calmer. And you'll be living in the front part of your brain where, as I say, you're in flow, you're calm, you're connected, you're confident, you're not stressed out of your mind, you're not constantly in fight or flight, fawn or freeze. Yes, so and with a difficult ex, they're going to know your trigger points, and often they're parenting, so they're going to you know, being a lot of people watching this video may well be codependent. You may not know that yet, you may not be, but I certainly was, and am hopefully now an ex-codependent, and many people in abusive relationships are. So you're going to get from the ex, you're a bad parent, you're not doing the right thing for the kids by alienating me, la la la. You can't buy into any of that. You don't need to justify yourself, you don't need to engage in the calls, you don't need to even take any calls unless they are with the children. or once a week, you know, at that chosen time when you check the calls. And if they are with the children, unless there's something wrong with the children, what are they doing texting you? So it can feel like cold turkey. As I say, every cell in your body is wanting to text them. Your wounds are coming up, you're wanting to heal them, you're feeling unloved. Those crumbs of love are better than nothing, but for your own sake, and to get through this and to heal and be happy in life and be a good parent, a better parent than maybe you currently are, which we all want to be, you need to get out of this relationship and stick to stick to what you know is best for you and the children. There's an app called Family Wizard, which you may or may not know about, and that is it's a paid app. So often the narcissistic parent's not going to like that, because they like to be able to text you and delete texts and send abuse and whatever else. And let's be honest, we've probably all done that back, because there's mirror neurons going on, and it's a way of trying to get your point across, and we all get angry. But with this wizard, what did I say it was called? The Family Wizard. Everything's recorded, nothing can be deleted, and all the professionals and the court can see all the messages. There's even been times when the courts have insisted on the parent who doesn't want to use it, using it as the only way to contact. If there is a court order in place, in the early days, there should be no flexibility on it. You need to get your power back. You need to stand in your own power. You make the arrangements and you stick to them. And yes, things can crop up, and it would be nice to be flexible, but if you're dealing with somebody unreasonable, then in those early days, that isn't a good idea. To break the trauma bonds and addiction, it will allow you to be a much better parent, because you're calmer and you are in a place of more self-power, self-leadership, and a better role model, like I've said. And it can help you break the addiction to the trauma bond that you've got going on. Sadly, some friends and family want to keep you stuck. So you can kindly say to them, do you know what, I'll quickly tell you what's going on, but I don't want to keep retelling the story every week to your friends and your family and at work about what your terrible ex has done is just going to keep you stuck. Yes, I did it years ago. I'm sure lots of my friends did it. I know they did. I remember it all, and I had a lot of friends in similar situations. But many of us have put the work in. Many of us are trained therapists nowadays, or coaches, or or healers, and we're changed people. But obviously, the narcissistic partner will not have changed, and they will still be the same. It's very important to set boundaries. Saying to your ex or your friends, she makes me feel, you make me feel, you're giving all your power away. Nobody can make you feel anything. Reframe that wording. I feel is in power. You make me feel is childlike language, going back to all the traumas. You want to step into your power and take ownership. I've talked about this in previous videos, the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And I think the important one here is don't take anything personally. Does it matter what your ex is saying about you? Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's not very nice. But if you know it's not true, it doesn't really matter. Detach your emotions from their response. Don't show the narcissist any emotion. If you do, they feel they are winning, or they're getting what they want, and they will continue and feel in a place of power over you. As I say, you may well be codependent or ex-codependent, or have codependent tendencies. Codependency is a learned behaviour, and I want to help you to unlearn that and input more productive habits. Bad habits are things like taking things personally. So very quickly, as I say, it's hard to get all this into a video, and it is going to be a bit of a longer video because I've got a lot to talk about, but you need to set your boundaries. Also for physical protection, there are physically aggressive, abusive partners out there. Some threats are idle threats, but other times they go through with it, and you need to report all of this. Make a diary for when you go to court. If there's a court order in place, stick to it. Pickups, drop-offs. If you're being harassed, then you dictate where the changes take place, hopefully from the court order. You can put a protective bubble up around you. Going into court can be scary, hopefully you can take someone with you. Then there's things like visualization and hypnotherapy, which again I can help you with. I'm a fully trained hypnotherapist. I've been doing hypnotherapy for years, and your brain believes what it is feeling, seeing, and what is emotive. So if you are visualizing yourself winning that court case, staying calm, getting your point across, not getting irate, not losing your temper, not crying, and visualizing the court judging in your favor, the more you do that, the more you see that picture at night, the more you go over what you've got to say in court, the much more likely that is to happen. Your brain will think that you've already been there before, because that's how the brain works. If you're getting false allegations at you, there's not an awful lot you can do. The simplest thing to do is say to your ex-partner, that's true, and that's not true, don't you? They might be texting you, trying to find out where you are. As I said earlier, if it's nothing to do with the children, then do not reply. What they want is your attention, and your most valuable resource is your attention. You get to dictate who's worthy of it. Now, as I say, I wouldn't bring the word narcissist up in court ever unless you have a diagnosis. You can review your local county rules for court. Get your mindset ready for court with hypnotherapy, with visualizations, with positive affirmations. Things like I am thriving and learning through this situation. I am strong, I'm courageous, I am going to come out on top. What else did I want to say? Yes, let your emotions out, not in court maybe. It's okay to cry, it's necessary to cry. It's not a failure to cry. It's important to remember that crying is a natural part of the grieving process, and you may well be grieving the loss of your family unit, the loss of someone that, yes, you did love. Don't be avoidant. And what are, the classic avoidance symptoms? Excess TV, binge eating, binge drinking, lots of partying, overdoing it at the gym, all that sort of thing. If you're doing those things. Process your emotions, get it all out, cry, get help, get therapy, speak to a friend. Have a support team, have a network of people. Legal advisor you're going to need. Maybe you're going to represent yourself, but you would need to at least get some legal advice, even if it's online. I think there are free resources. Financial advice is always very useful and helpful. That always depends on how much money you have to work with. I know, of course, family and friends, but pick your family and friends wisely. The ones you're telling things, the ones that are supportive, the ones that aren't gonna keep you stuck, the ones that aren't gonna keep talking about, you know, of course you've got to talk about the situation, but you know, there are limits, and there is healthy discussion, and there is just moaning, complaining, and all those sorts of things. The 5 people around you are the most important people. Be careful who you have around you. Exercise is great. Endorphins, letting out all those stress hormones. Maybe a friend to go to yoga or the gym with. And then, of course, it's a good idea to get a coach or therapist. You may not be able to afford one. If you can't, there is information online. There's definitely stuff on my pages that will help. But if you can get that one-to-one help, it is always beneficial. I've already talked about taking back your control. You know, you do have to try to... you've made the decision to enter the relationship. You've really got to try very hard to stick to it now. You know, don't rush into any decisions like, you know, getting straight into another relationship or anything like that. And remember that things are always going to get better. You've likely been in a relationship before that's gone wrong and you were devastated. That probably turned out all right and you knew it was right for you in the end. You know, talking things like, I've lost my true love, that was my twin flame. You know, you might not be thinking that if they're totally abusing you, but, you know, I'll never find love again. That it's not true, it's not helpful. Watch what you speak, how you speak, the words you speak, the thoughts you think. They are so important, and what you concentrate your attention on is what you get back. Try to do things differently. You know, make changes, go to different places, go to somewhere different with your friends, join a dating app, even if you're not actually gonna go on a date. Cook different dinners for you and your kids, get your hair cut, change the colour of your hair, anything like that. As I always say, for me, getting out of the house, being out in nature is absolutely key. Connecting to nature, connecting to our beautiful Mother Earth. You know, anything peaceful and calming like yoga, or, you know, I love high impact exercise classes too. Spin, you know, I like to get all that frustration and anger out as well. Whatever, swimming, if you can treat yourself to some self-care, a massage. You know, have a look in your underwear drawer. You might not be dating, but if your underwear's all crappy and, you know, nothing matches, maybe go and treat yourself to something new. Self-care is very important. Journaling. I love to journal. I've been journaling today. I journal every day. Getting things down on paper really helps. Your feelings, your thoughts, your goals, your intentions, what you want to let go of. As I've said earlier, don't cyber stalk your ex. It's really not healthy. It is going to upset you. If you've got children, it's going, you know, you're going to be agitated, probably distressed, winding yourself up. Do yourself a favour and don't do it. Yeah, so you stop telling your breakup story. Take off the rose tinted glasses. Don't keep thinking about all the good things, because there probably weren't that many in reality. Make small changes. The other thing you can do is refer to your ex by their initials, and if you're writing them down, do it in lowercase to give them less emotional significance. And what what you have got to remember, that breakups can be the perfect time to get a brand new life, to let go of everything that's been holding you back, to make a fresh start, new beginnings. How amazing is that? You know, you might even want to look at new career choices, or, you know, new friendship groups. Anything can happen. Yeah. So what else? I think that is it. I've been here for 35 minutes. I hope that what I've said today has been helpful. As I say, I am fully trained, accredited and certified trauma-informed coach. I specialise in narcissistic abuse. I'm a hypnotherapist. And I am here to help. I love helping people, especially with things that I have had happen to me, and I've seen the mistakes I've made, and I can help you avoid making those mistakes. Being in fight and flight, stress, having cortisol running through your body, being addicted to the trauma response, the trauma hormones, the trauma bonding. It is so unhealthy for you and for your family and for your children. You will give off a much more beautiful energy, a much more radiant, energetic field. People will see the difference in you. Your life will be better. Your health will be better. Your parenting will be better. Everything will be better. Eventually, your finances will be better. It's a knock-on effect. You will get your life back on track. But yes, the beginning days are very difficult. And if I can help you make them any easier, I would love to. Do get in contact with me. And good luck. You will be okay. You've got to put the work in, and you know, get any help you can get. Over and out. Goodbye.